Doing a weekly outlook. So today is Monday, the 10th of October. So market's looking very, very clean. The last sort of 2 weeks on a lot of the pairs, at least a lot of the pairs that I trade, it's been somewhat slow, somewhat messy. I am really predominantly a swing trader, so I like, 100, 200, 500, 1,000 pip moves, and we haven't been seeing it. We've been seeing a lot of slower sort of ranging markets. Given that last week was NFP as well, typically the first week of the month, not always, but typically it is somewhat a bit slower with that news release there as well. Sometimes price likes to stall as you move into non-farm payroll on the Friday. So I always like to kind of get that out of the way. I don't let it affect my trading. I always trade what I see, but I have found that typically it is a little bit slower, more ranging price action. So coming into this week, I just want to break down the news I want you guys to be aware of for the week ahead. So coming into today, we do have some GBP news, some AUD news releasing in the Asian session. Nothing really there you should be sort of worried about or concerned with. Tomorrow we have news releasing at 1 a.m. Central Time, which is about an hour before the London session opens. Nothing really crazy there, but just notice that there's no more news during London or New York or the Asian session. So, the lack of news could mean that we might see a slower day. Same thing on Wednesday. A lot of the news releasing here at 1 a.m., which is, again, 2 a.m. is the London Open. So there's no more news other than there's two bits of news throughout the New York session, but there's no more news during London. So London could be fairly quiet, and then same with the Asian session on Wednesday. However, the PPI news along with FOMC will likely bring some volatility in the market on any USD pairs. So make sure you guys are aware of that. Okay, this GBP news really shouldn't do anything, but you definitely want to be just aware of these news releases here. Okay. And then Thursday, same thing. We have no news at all releasing during the London session. However, at the New York Open at 7:30, 8 a.m., we do have a lot of USD news. In particular, we want to be focused, or just not focused, but aware of the inflation rate news. We have core inflation rate and inflation rate releasing. Inflation rate is definitely something I try to not trade around if possible. Of course, I always trade what I see. I don't care about the news. I don't really let it affect my outlook on a pair or currency at all. I don't trade using fundamentals, but I just don't like trading in and around these spikes in manipulation. I like to, try and get in earlier or get in after once, the market's sort of done its fake out or whatever it is. It's usually pretty easy to spot sometimes, but not all the time. So just be aware of that. CPI news as well at that time might bring some movement. And then going into Friday, again at that New York Open, we have a lot of USD news. None of this should really do anything, but notice again on Thursday there's no news during the Asian session, and then Friday there's no news during the London session. So we could see some slow movement this week just because of there really not being any news in a lot of the sessions. Mostly London, New York really don't have much. They have it kind of at the open, then that's it. We like to see news spread out throughout the week because that generally means we see a nice flow of movement. Not always, but generally. So I always say, I don't rely on the news. I don't care about the news, but news in my eyes and in my experience is more of a catalyst to push price where it is intended to go anyways, based off of price action. But with that news can come fake outs, manipulation, and you can sometimes use that to your advantage. You can kind of anticipate what's going to happen. Not always, but sometimes. So just be aware of that. All right, let's have a look at some pairs. So dollar is just crazy bullish, right? If you go up to the weekly on this thing, we're sitting at 113. We've not been at this price point since, where are we at? Since back in, I think it's like 2002. Yeah, 2002. Absolutely insane. And this isn't just for the dollar. Like most pairs are at yearly, if not decade highs and lows. Like if we're to look at another pair, like obviously Euro USD, which is negatively correlated, like we're sitting at 0.968. We haven't been here since, same thing, 2002. If you look at Euro JPY, for example, we were here back in what are we at? Yeah, this year we were here, and then before then we weren't here until December 14. You look at like GBP USD. We're here currently at 1.105. We've not been here since like 1985. Like just insane levels of price action. So we're at a really weird time in the market. The world events currently are just all over the place. and that's obviously being reflected in the market. But nevertheless, there's still opportunity to be caught. Sometimes there's less, sometimes there's more. Your job as a trader is to just flow with price and follow your trading plan. Like I just said, sometimes there's lots of opportunity, sometimes there's not much. You just have to sit on your hands. Again, we can never force anything in the market. Our job is to just trade your trading plan. Whether you're a swing trader, a scalper, intraday, whatever it is you do, you cannot force price. Okay, you must just flow with price and let price come to you and react accordingly based on your trading style, which is very, very important. You guys listen to what I just said on that. So there's only a few pairs I really want to cover today, as I feel a few more need price action. So Euro AUD, last week here, I was looking for buys, which I posted, and then I said we can look for possibly something like this. Price did come up, test structure here, but never really made a move lower, and then ended up breaking higher. So really, there's no trades through here. However, we have had a nice break of this level, of this 1.53 thousand level. So right now, price is at 1.54. I do see this eventually pulling back down to 1.53, 1.532, retesting this for a move higher. 100 pips on this pair is nothing. It can do 100 pips in 30 minutes. Like this pair can, like let's have a look here, for example. This candle right here is 200 pips, or like this candle right here is 60 pips. Like 100 pips is nothing. So just be aware of that. Like I know it looks far away right now, it's nothing. So that's what I am personally waiting for, is a pullback into 1.53 thousand region, and I can look for a buy up into 1.55. Something like this would be beautiful price action. Again, a 1 to 5 easily, depending on your stop loss and entry. But that'd be an easy 1 to 5. Another pair I'm looking at, AUD USD. Not really interested right now. I do see this having a pullback up into here, but needs a bit of price action. USD Swiss, I'm very, very interested in this pair. So on Friday, we broke above 0.99500, and we're currently testing 1.00. So I'm expecting to see this respect 1.00, pull back down into 0.995. If we can respect this level, we could see a push right back up past 1.00, maybe even like 1.00500 around here, which, I mean, again, something like that. This is what I would personally be looking for, something sort of like this. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Like that's a nice little 1 to 4, and it could even go way higher. So even on this pair, we're at highs we saw back in May, and then before that, we haven't been here since December of 2019. Like, we're just at crazy, crazy highs. So as long as the dollar keeps being crazy bullish, we should see this just continuing higher. Now, there has been somewhat messy price action the last 2 weeks. At least for me, I've taken like 3 trades in the last 2 weeks. There really hasn't been much, at least for how I trade. I can easily make 40-50% in a month, with 4 trades. Like that's, the amount of trades to me isn't really, it's not really important. It's the risk reward to each position. 1 to 10, a 1 to 15, a 1 to 20, a 1 to 30 isn't uncommon for me. So that's one thing you guys have to get in your head as well if you're learning to become a full-time trader is, it's not really about the quantity of trades, it's about the quality. You can go all month and maybe have shitty price action, but then you might catch 2 1 to 10s and boom, you've made 20%. And let's say you have a 400K funded account, you just made 80K. So, it doesn't take much. It just takes patience and emotional and psychological control. So, good little tip for you guys there. Another pair I want to cover is Euro USD. So, same thing. Dollar is still very, very bullish, meaning Euro USD is still very, very bearish. What I am personally looking for here is a pullback into this 0.97500 region, much like the opposite of USD Swiss that we just covered here, right? And then I'm looking for this to retest this level here and push right back down into 0.95200, 500 region here. So again, something like this will look something like this risk reward wise, like it's a 1 to 7 approximately. Now, of course, guys, I'm not married to these setups at all. Things can always change, which is why I always do the 4-hour updates and the daily updates videos with the mentorship students, because at one point in time we could be looking at a sell on a certain pair, but then we get new price action. We're like, okay, now that this has happened, we're now looking for buys, and then boom, we're in a position, right? So if this was to push up into here and not respect this level, and then retest this, we could see something like this. Same thing with USD Swiss as well. You know, it might actually, this might be a fake out, and we always could see this as well. So I'm not married to these setups, but just based on what I'm seeing now, this is what I would anticipate and be waiting for. But of course, as we get more price action, I will post in the public Discord and update you guys as we get more price action. So here also, guys, you'll see that I have added a bunch of more channels, educational content, things like that. I have links. There are many fake accounts of me going around on Instagram. So here is my one and only Instagram, so that way no one gets scammed or confused. Okay, the YouTube channel, the website. Mentorship enrollment is currently still open, so if you wanted to join that, that's all in here. And I'll be putting more education videos and links in here as well. Maybe I think I might post maybe one a week, or any, you know, important links, things like that. That I find or come across that I think might be as useful to you guys, I'll be posting in here as well. All right, I want to try and give you guys as much content and free content as I can, as I know, you know, not everyone is in a position right now to learn or pay for the mentorship program. You know, so I want to make sure everyone's still progressing and learning as much as possible. So that's it for now, guys. Have a great trading week. Make sure you use proper risk management as always. You're going to have wins. You're going to have losses. It's about using strict risk management and coming out on top at the end of every single month. Have a great week, guys, and I will chat to you guys in the public Discord.